Boomers being fools. Good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. Welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else lie to you and tell you otherwise. r/BoomersBeingFools. A subreddit that has really exploded in the past couple of weeks, or really gone boom. Man, that was almost a pun. I'm proud of myself. This is going to be a good video. The amount of people and boomers that have really displayed their Karen-esque side in the past couple of weeks has really gone off the rails. Maybe due to some unrelated events in the US. Man, it really emboldens the wrong behaviors, doesn't it? And a lot of that ends up on these kind of subreddits. It's absolutely amazing. It's everything from Karens being absolutely wild in public to people going bananas in traffic, or its entire family units completely imploding because someone put up a sign for some political candidate in their yard, which to me is like a completely alien concept as a little Swedish person. So this is going to be really fascinating. It's basically a documentary, so just strap in and strap on. Oh my god, I should print that on a shirt. Strap in and strap on. It's gonna be a ride. That would be amazing merchandise. Let me know in the comments if you want that to be merchandise. I would probably wear that in public, because I have no sense of shame.
Oh, you're not?
Yes, I am.
Wait, it's this dude! Oh my god, is this part 2? Wait, this is part 2! Oh my god, this is so good. We saw this in a main character video. So he was just following this guy in a car and called the cops on him.
Yeah, because he wouldn't roll down his window.
Why would you, if someone comes to your door and is knocking on your door?
Okay, so this is from the police camera perspective when he's talking to the police officer and going complete Karen mode. You know that you've really gone Karen mode when you end up on both r/I'm the main character and r/BoomersBeingFools. You have the ultimate Venn diagram.
Invisibly worked up. Are you going to open that door for them?
I'd roll down my window.
Okay, I've watched people get punched for doing that.
Oh, the police, you're not leaving. You're not leaving.
I'm going to issue you one for disorderly conduct as well.
I won't press charges.
It's too late.
Oh, come on, man. I was the victim here.
Right. We can go a different way and you can be arrested for disorderly conduct. Get a demand that they don't go anywhere. You don't get to open their door.
I didn't open his door.
You did, 3 times.
No, he was trying to close his door.
He closed it because you kept opening it. He's under no obligation to...
Oh my god, he actually got ticketed and written up by the police officer. What a Chad officer. Justice is being served. Indeed, this is some sweet instant karma. I am so glad there was a part 2 to this video. This is so satisfying. This is the happy end to the story that we were all waiting for. r/BoomersBeingFools. Because you're a woman. This morning, a boomer decided to treat me like I shouldn't have the same rights as him. On my way home from dropping off my kids at school, an 81-year-old man in my neighborhood pulled out from a side street and blocked my path. I think this move was simply because that he's a bad driver, but then it got weird. He decided to stop and wait for me to move, even though there was nowhere for me to go, and he had parked cars on his side of the street. The law is clear on this one, and he was violating it twice. Basically, if the rules work the same way there as they do here, if the obstruction is on your side of the road, you have to let the other cars pass first, right? That's basically how it works. And also, people coming out from parking spaces do not have the right of way. They have to wait until the street is cleared. So this dude has basically violated traffic laws twice already in 10 seconds. Anyway, he gets out of his cars and starts to yell at me that I need to move. Very get off my lawn behavior. I calmly asked him why he was yelling at me. His response? Because you're a woman. Cool, bro. So I waited. About 30 minutes later, the police come. When I explained to the female officer what was happening, she rolled her eyes. He proceeded to yell at her and claim he was once arrested for something completely different. She made him move. I want to so badly release this information, but I am going to be the bigger person. I think this was a nice warm-up to our immediate future in the US. Haha, can't wait. Is this the same dude who was on the bike? Maybe this was him. He did this first, lost his driver's license, and then he hopped on a bike and kept harassing people. Ah, that is amazing. Because you are a woman. Man, this person has already demonstrated how they're completely out of touch, completely a sexist butthole, and they shouldn't have their driver's license all in a few minutes. That is almost impressive if it wasn't so pathetic. Being a conservative seems freaking awesome. My dad is super unbothered when I tell him horrific current events, because he just says, that doesn't sound true, and then suddenly it isn't for him. It's very convenient, but then you have them believing and liking and sharing like the AI trash on Facebook, you know, where they send you the picture of a Jesus carrot, and it's like, oh, blessed be this Jesus farmer. It's like, this isn't real. But the picture is on Facebook. How can it not be real? You know, back in the day, when adults were telling us, like, don't believe everything you see on TV or whatever, why did they turn around and start believing everything they see on the internet? Why is that? Why is it so ironic? World, why are you so ironic? What did we do to deserve this? Okay, anyway, next post. Alright, we got someone going full Karen mode. I don't think there's any audio in this, but based on the facial expressions, I can sort of guess that it's not something very pleasant she's saying to them. And she goes outside, tosses the pizza on the ground. What was that? What was that? Then they're like, oh, I guess we have to help her because she can't get up after she tried to... What did she even try to do? Did she try to stomp the pizza like a toddler? Oh, you put too many mushrooms on my pineapple pizza. And then she goes outside to stomp it like a toddler to show how disgruntled she is. And she slips over. And they have to help her up. Man, this is so embarrassing. Are we sure that we all didn't get abducted by aliens and they just replaced people's brains with baby brains? Because, man, there are so many people out there that are quite old that act like toddlers still. That's my only explanation. New favorite conspiracy. Oh, this is some sweet petty argument. Speaking about signs on the lawn. Okay, let's go, baby. Not a loser or a sucker. Veterans for Harris. And then someone goes up to the sign and, like, paints it over so it says a loser or a sucker, basically. Oh, that's very funny. And then they make a new sign that says, whomever defaced my sign, thank you. You reminded me of why I volunteered to defend democracy. Semper Fi. And they put that up next to the sign and repaint not a loser or a sucker. But then the real unhingedness begins. As if, like, sneaking onto someone's lawn with a spray can wasn't, like, you know, petty and unhinged and, like, kind of, you know, get a freaking hobby for God's sakes kind of vibes already. This certainly is. Look at this letter. Dear American veteran, here we go, baby. Thank you very much for your military service. If it is true. Why do you have that sign in your yard? It is so ugly. It's a true insult. It's a complete lie. Trump has never said that. He never said anything like that. It was a bold lie made up by Biden and the Biden administration repeated over and over. Trump loses up troop and the military veterans completely proven many times the record. For one example about Biden and Harris, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. But no, there's one more page. I don't believe in lies about Trump. He's America first. MAGA, make America great again. In other words, help our country become truly successful and respected again. And more, listen to his rallies and speeches to J.D. Vance and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I have a little game for you at home in the comments that I would love for you to participate in. There are two scenarios how this happened, right, that I can picture. Number one, this person goes past this yard and see that this person put up a new sign in their yard, and they went home, spent 5 hours of their Saturday, and wrote out this literal essay. As if they're still in school, just a bit more unhinged, and put it in their mailbox. Or do you think this is like a pre-written thing they just changed the header of to send to anyone whose yard signs or whatever they don't like? So basically the question is, do you think this is a unique, a beautiful script just for this person? Or do you think this is a copy pasta this boomer is posting to everyone who has, I don't know, signs in their yard that they fix after they destroy them, you know? For being the same group of people that always say, like, oh, young people don't want to work anymore. Well, Karen, I don't spend 6 hours on my Wednesday writing unhinged essay to send to random people whose yard signs I don't like. Who's the one who doesn't want to work, Karen? Huh?
Don't tell me how rude our generation is, because I have worked in customer service for over 3 years, and I have never had someone close to my age yell and freak out on me like the older generation does. You see, I think this is a conspiracy. I think people over a certain age get kidnapped by aliens, their brains replaced with toddler brains as some kind of sick experiment, and reintegrated into society. This is my new conspiracy. It's the only explanation, or maybe it's just lead paint. It's a bit less exciting, but that could also be it. College students do not have to go in debt to get a degree.
Yeah, it's so easy to make, like, $500 an hour working McDonald's.
They can work their way through life like many of us did before the day of student loans.
Ma'am, you were classmates with Moses when college classes cost only a few shekels. Oh man, this person would have like some sort of aneurysm if they actually like looked up how much an education in the US costs nowadays, you know, or a house for that matter. Like, oh my god, I worked all summer to buy this house. Boomers, anytime literally anything changes to make things better for the next generation. What if we made the world a better place for no reason? How will the younglings learn to pull themselves up by the bootstraps? If it's they will be spoiled. Oh my god. Putting up a Trump sign. So my neighbor was trying to put up a vote for Trump sign. She was having issues, so I helped. I may not like Trump, but I get everyone has the right to their opinion. I was totally wearing an anti-Trump shirt. She started going on and on about how Harris and Biden have completely destroyed this country. And I'm just like, doesn't seem destroyed to me. Then she started talking about Venezuela sending all its criminals here to kill Americans. I'm like, how many stories have you heard about Venezuelans killing Americans? She said none, because the news is covering for Biden. She then told me that basically everything bad about Trump was created by AI to make him look bad. Okay, wait a second, so if something in the news isn't actually being reported, but I want it to be true, then it's purposefully covered up. And if something bad happens that is against the thing I want to believe in, then it's AI. That's very convenient, isn't it? It's like backward science. Man, this is amazing. I said, as a teacher, how do you feel about him talking about Arnold Palmer's pee-pee, where kids may have been? She said it absolutely didn't happen. It was all AI. I said many sources verified. She's like, most news is against Trump and they lie. To think she is a school teacher, so scary. I mean, she at least knows that AI is a thing, I suppose. That's like half a star out of like 10. Oh my god, I know you probably don't have this person added on Facebook or whatever, but it would be so ironic if the same person is liking those very obvious AI posts on Facebook thinking it's real, but this other stuff over here they don't like is obviously AI. Oh my god, I want that to be true. I want that to be true so bad so you can end up in a confidently incorrect video. Please be true.
Dear children, OK Boomer is already massively cliche. Someday you'll grow up and be adults and understand how stupid and disrespectful OK Boomer is. Until then, carry on being typical millennials, and we'll continue being responsible adults.
Okay, Boomer. So over infantilization of millennials. We're goddamn middle-aged! Or close to it! Oh my god, I had a literal encounter of this quite recently. I bumped into like some old family friends or something. I didn't really remember them because they were probably family friends from like, 20 years ago when I was a literal child. And all of a sudden, they turn to me and they say something like, yeah, and it's so funny, kids these days don't want to work. And I'm like, okay, first off, what do you mean kids these days? I'm 32. Secondly, all of my friends are like engineers, or work 2 jobs, or run their own businesses and stuff. Who is this child? Who is this 32-year-old child you're talking about? It's so weird, man. I was like literally flabbergasted. It's like, yeah, this is just the meme and stuff, and it comes, BAM! Slaps you right in the face. Uncle.
Haha, emojis and pointing and laugh crying. How's Camilla doing right now?
Oh, because it's like camel, like the animal. Like, it's an insulting pun. That is very funny. I swear to God, people are way too invested in like political candidates. Like, oh my god, idolize normal things. Like, I don't know, singers. Or YouTubers is a good idea. Particular YouTubers that make great plushies. Why politicians? It's so lame, man. It's been a week, Gary. Lol. Oh, it's bad when you call your uncle by their first name. What took you so long? Also, I see you stumble across 16-year-old boys' TikTok comments. Ah, the inspiration. That's how you know they're young and hip. I have been basking in the glory of another Trump presidency. All I've seen is a bunch of crybabies crying all over the internet. I told you she would lose, Luke. I can't believe my favorite nephew wouldn't vote for the one who supports his kind. What do you mean, supports his kind? What does that mean, Uncle Gary? Would you care to elaborate, Uncle Gary? Because that sounds pretty bad out of context, Uncle Gary. Well, crying is what crybabies tend to do. Better than storming the Capitol. And the fact that his supporters refer to white people as his kind is enough reason why I didn't vote for him. You even wonder why my dad doesn't invite you to Thanksgiving anymore. Oh my god, this person is already like alienated from the family. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure a fifth of ruble is calling your name. Get lost. Oh, you're a peepee. Oh no. I think you hurt Uncle Gary's feeling. This kind of stuff is so surreal to me. Can you actually imagining this happening in your family? I mean, I guess some of you can. Yeah, otherwise these posts wouldn't exist. So like, okay, I guess some of that is redundant. But for some people, like me, okay? Like, it's so surreal that you would go around and text like petty emojis and spam your family members. But haha,
This thing you may or may not have voted for did or didn't win.
Uncle Gary, what? I think maybe Uncle Gary was also abducted and had his brain replaced with a toddler. I think that's very likely. Results have already started. This is from an American woman today.
My husband works for a small manufacturing company here in southwestern PA. That means most employees are Trump voters. When the president of the company sat them down today to tell them their annual Christmas bonus would not come this year because they now need to purchase at least a year worth of products prior to January 21st due to the proposed tariffs, they did not understand. My husband said that their president had to explain what a tariff is and how it will directly hurt their company. They all thought the foreign company paid the tariff.
You thought like a literal tax in your own country is paid somewhere else? Okay.
This is the level of ignorance voting against their own interests here in PA, where we failed American women and children last night. Woo!
Absolutely astounding. I know that one of the main search results on Google the day after the results was, what is a tariff? And you also know, of course, that the results are going to be like in half the companies, this is going to happen, where, people actually get fired, or they don't get their bonuses, or they don't get a pay raise next year, or whatever it is to cover the costs. And, the other half of companies are just going to increase the prices by 30% if the tariffs are, for example, 20%. And then it's going to be the consumers that pay for everything. And all of a sudden you have a year where it's like, wow, groceries are 30% more expensive. How did that happen? And at the same time, companies are like, ooh, we have record profits somehow, like happened during COVID. It's absolute BS, man. It's absolute BS. It's against the interest of anyone who, buys groceries. Leopards ate my face? Salt! Slugs for salt! Slugs for salt! It's slugs for salt! It's amazing. I love being melted alive.
If you vote for Harris, you and your kids are banned from the holidays. You're out of the family and dead to us.
Works for us.
How come you're spiteful and banned me from seeing my grandkids? What did I do to you?
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Oh my god, man. The amount of stuff I've seen on social media of families literally imploding, or really weird gloating about the wildest things. Or all the people that went to Twitter and are like, your body, my choice. Damn. Holy crap, man. The thing I'm the most surprised about isn't how everything went, so to say. It's how ridiculously mask off everyone went all of a sudden. Twitter used to be a cesspool. Now it's like a cesspool in the cesspool. It's like cesspool squared. It's absolutely insane. The amount of stuff I see posted there now that is just so unhinged is absolutely wild. I saw a post the other day that was trending, that was on my For You page for some reason, with 200,000 votes, where it's just something like, people that didn't vote for this now go around with face masks and shaved heads and blue scarves. It's a cult. 200,000 likes, and you have hundreds and hundreds of verified accounts agreeing with this. And it's so obvious the picture is just like an AI picture of some ladies with face masks. It's like this isn't even a real photo. And you have 200,000 people being like, oh my god, the cult. What do you mean? It's just boomer Facebook AI slop, but it's reached Twitter. Isn't it that a beautiful thing?
I am a very concerned resident regarding your horrific and demonic array every Halloween. This is not a happy time of the year. In fact, it's the time where Satan impregnates his bride. You need to consider what you are doing, and it's affecting many of the neighbors in this area. Some of us dread walking by your house. Oh no, the satanic act of plastic skeletons and giving candy to children. Woe is me. Your horrifying and demonic array every Halloween. I can never tell if these people are actually flabbergasted about this stuff, or if they're just pearl clutching for show. It's like, oh, it's so offensive. I can't tell. I think it's a bit 50-50, to be honest. Satan impregnates his bride. Oh man, in this household we celebrate Satan sex. So here is someone's dad that put up a crap load of signs. Oh my god. You're welcome. Wrong you're as well. That just adds a little spice on top, doesn't it? How much did all that garbage cost? And don't put Veterans for Trump on your lawn. Oh, he's also not Latino. Wait. Did he buy signs for everything? But he is neither of those. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my god. To be honest, that's more egregious to me than stolen valor, as a veteran who is Latino. Stolen Latino valor. Did he just go to some store and spend $1,000 on every single variation of signs? Women for this, Latinos for this, soldiers for this. Oh man. Reading landlord fired after allegedly committing voter mail fraud in Reddit posts.
I actually did not engage in such activities. The statement itself was hyperbole intended to inflame and anger the audience. I was too good at it.
Oh, you were too good at trolling, so you went and admitted to a literal crime on the internet, and then you saw the consequences for it. That's one form of calling it trolling, I guess. Gee.
My friend in work love her.
Wait, is this their Halloween dress up? This is unironically your Halloween costume. I mean, normally people would go out as, I don't know, a ghost. Or, you know, a Nazgul from Lord of the Rings. Or a slutty carrot. Not... not whatever. Is this even a costume? This is not a cult.
Nope, she is an American.
Ah, that's right. First rule of being an American. Idolize the president.
Exactly.
No, wrong! Spray bottle. Bad!
I was just showing off my colleagues' amazing Halloween costume or whatever. They just look like they ran through the checkout lane in like a Walmart or something like that and accidentally bumped into a bunch of stuff that stuck to them. This is a bad costume. A boomer ranting about all those people getting money from the government gets a lesson. I was hanging around a boomer relative, and of course they have the election on. They have a lot of opinions on how to improve things and blame young people for today's problems, despite me pointing out on multiple occasions those politicians look a lot closer to his age than mine. At one point they finally got to the real problem, which was overspending. I agreed with him because I knew exactly where he was going with it, but I already had the data pulled up on my phone. They said the government was spending too much money on lazy people, and that's all I needed to go in for the lesson. 12% of federal spending goes to Medicare for people aged 65 or older. You have Medicare, right? 21% goes to Social Security. You have Social Security too. 3% goes to people aged 65 or older receiving veteran benefits, and 10% goes to paying interest on overspending for all those things. You're right, I said. 46% of federal budget is going to lazy frickers sitting on the couch spouting useless opinions on the ongoing election. You guys, I have never seen a boomer scream that loud. They threw me out of the house, and now I am getting texts saying Thanksgiving is probably cancelled. I'm not worried. I'll invite all the family I care about to my place regardless. They have no idea how anything works. Oh my god, is this where they're like, oh, those kids and their darn phones come from? How dare you look up facts and logics on your phone while I'm ranting at you? Those millennial children and their darn phones. Those millennial 35-year-old kids and their phones. Seniors over 55 years old should not have to pay school taxes. We do not have any children in school. Keep going. Pass this on.
Oh, this one is a doozy. I remember I used to listen to a radio show in Sweden when I was traveling to the office a few years ago. And this radio show was pretty funny because it was a call-in show and people called in with all kinds of wild opinions, right? You can imagine when you're sitting in your car at like 9 in the morning on a Wednesday, the people who have the time to call into a random radio show 9 in the morning on Wednesdays are typically people that don't have really better things to do and are usually a little bit unhinged, which makes it very funny. So anyway, one person called in and said, "We should cancel all school." And the host is like, what do you mean? Do you care to elaborate?
Yeah, we should have no education. People should just start working right away. School is a waste of time.
And then, of course, the host says something like, all right, but what if you need an open heart surgery? And then the guy backtracks a bit and says,
but okay, we can educate doctors, but no one else. No other school, only doctors.
And he said, okay, but what if someone needs to fix your electricity in your house?
Oh, right. Okay, we can educate doctors and electricians, but nothing else, no school.
And then this kept going for like 10 minutes, backtracking like every single thing where he might need services in his life. This dude that believes school shouldn't be a thing and we shouldn't pay for it. It was pretty funny to see in live time. I had a good laugh that morning on the way to work. It was very entertaining. This patient was bragging to me about how his daughter went no contact with him over Trump. Is that a bragging right? Man, we have reached like a whole new evolution of estranged parents, right? Now it's no longer like the projecting estranged parents as he coming out of these unhinged Facebook groups where he's like, oh my god, I'm so perfect. Apart from these things I did that are horrendous and abusive, but I'm so perfect. I could never have done anything wrong. Or is this one thing, I wore the wrong color shirt one time and they cut contact. Now it's no longer that. Now they're proud of it. I'm so proud of it because my children were so weak that they don't deserve contact. Estranged parents are evolving, huh? And not in a good way. He was literally so excited that his guy won and was just making constant fun of his daughter and her wife being upset. He kept going on and on about how everyone needs to get over it and come together and feelings don't matter. I didn't say anything since I want to keep my job. He literally was just gleefully making fun of liberal tears. He used that phrase more than once as he was walking away. I just said, good luck with your daughter in the future, and he just went stone-faced. I wanted so badly to point out when their guy lost last time, they did what they did on January 6th. Their guy won this time. They got what they think they wanted, so now it's time to come together and everyone who doesn't like it should shut up. It is absolutely insane how their minds work. Being proud of your family cutting you off. You know, there is this sort of thing where you say that if you encounter one butthole during the day, they're probably the butthole. If everyone you encounter during the day is a butthole, you're probably the butthole, right? If your whole family starts cutting you off, maybe you should start reconsidering something, right? Maybe you are actually the problem, you know, common denominators and all that. Call the cops because I took a lunch break. I run a barbershop in West Virginia and used to work at the Greenbrier Resort. They still contact me for clients every now and then, and when the salon staff don't want to do certain men's cuts, to which they pay me way more than I charge. So this morning, I got a call for some Fallout 76 fans that want to look exactly like the character they play. Oh my god! Fallout 76 shout out! Hell yeah! I'm playing that game way too much, man. So on my lunch break, I went over and performed the services they wanted. It was great. They had cosplay and everything. That is so cool. Oh my, I'm a bit jealous. I need to get some Fallout cosplay. My god. While I was doing the paperwork the hotel requires, I received a call from my town's police station. It was a wellness call because 2 boomer clients from the hills were worried I wasn't at my shop. What? When I got back, I was greeted by the opposite of wellness. 2 boomers were sitting inside my shop with the police. The police asked me why I left the door unlocked. I didn't. The police then said the reason the boomers called was because the door was unlocked and my register was open, but go figure, I don't use a register, and again, my door was not unlocked. Wait a second, did they like pick the lock or kick the door in or something, and they made a fuss about a register that doesn't exist? This doesn't sound like a wellness check. This sounds like a couple of entitled boomers who really wanted their haircut done then and there and couldn't accept the place being closed. So instead of accepting like, oh, maybe the owner is sick or maybe they're not in today, they called the police on a barber. Man. I pointed out that I had a sign on the door that read, out to lunch back before 1. Isn't there a law that you can be charged if you call the police unnecessarily? This seems to be one of those things. There is a store that literally says out for lunch back at this time, and some entitled customer calls the police for a wellness check because people aren't allowed to have lunch. This sounds like it should be that sort of thing, like textbook. That's when I noticed my door was broken by the notch where the lock sets in the frame. They broke in. So that's when I tell the officer, and after they look, they decide to check security cameras in the area. Turns out the boomers didn't pay attention to the turn-off barber pole, the signs on the door, the lights off, the locked door, etc. Just decided that the door was stuck a little and proceeded to bust it in. Old building. And then called the cops because I wasn't in there. This store is closed. Back at 1. Kicks in door, breaking and entering. No one is here. Call the police. Literally call the police on myself, breaking and entering, but pretend it's a wellness check. Oh my god. This is so surreal. How do people like this function in society? It's wild. This eventually led to the boomers trying to justify their actions they took, but in a normal boomer fashion, this was done by screaming at the police. In normal police fashion, they threatened to arrest them for breaking and entering, and the boomers did not take this well. That's when they started to insult me. If he was here, well, I didn't see the sign, the door was unlocked. I'm an eccentric person, for what obviously turned into straight-up slurs. That freaking fur is like, it was a lazy flame. This is now a criminal case, so I can't say much more about it on Reddit. But I can say one is sitting in a cold cell, and the other is attempting to hitchhike the 40-minute trip back to the hills. My career would be perfect if it wasn't for boomers. I literally worked on my lunch and didn't eat just because I knew I was going to have a lot of fun. I always have a great time with every client that isn't a boomer. It's like I'm not even working until a drunk-ass hillbilly boomer steps in the door with a frick your generation, Trump, 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 girls sing my doctor did yesterday, Vietnam horror stories, I hate you, come to my church if you're not gay ethnic people, uphill both ways! Woo! That is absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever heard a story of someone calling a wellness check after they literally break and enter into a private business. That is some serious lack of self-awareness. That is so amazing. Oh my god. At least they had some karma for it at the very least. I hope they learn, but I don't think they will. But karma, nonetheless.
I wish folks would stop telling young people how to manage their money. I paid $310 for my first apartment. Based on inflation, it should go for $850 per month now, but the rent is $1,600. You can't personal finance your way out of greedy landlords and depressed wages.
The thing is that you can only do so much within the economic frames you are given. It's sort of like if you play a video game and like, yeah, sure, you can grind to get better at the game or whatever, but if your other team are literally hackers with aimbots, there isn't that much you can do. No matter how much you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, you're still gonna get absolutely stomped. If the system is rigged, it doesn't really matter how hard you work if you get stuck in it. And of course, with that said, there are people out there that are genuinely bad with money. People that, for example, buy way too expensive cars they can't afford with like 10% interest rate on their loans and all that kind of stuff. You know, people make ridiculous choices when it comes to economy, even when they don't really have the money to do it. I have met plenty of people in my days who just straight up suck with money. But both things can be true at the same time, and that is important to remember. One isn't a counter-argument to the other. That is the nuance of the reality we live in. There can be some people over here that are just genuinely bad with money, while also acknowledging that there are injustices in the system that make it really hard, especially for young people, to get their footing in the world and aren't just stuck being essentially rent slaves. So both things can be true at the same time, and this goes for a lot of things in life. One thing doesn't cancel out the other, and that is very important to remember when you want to argue or make arguments about these sort of things or hear someone else do it. There is nuance. Multiple things can be true at the same time, but there are definitely unfair things going on in our system that are incredibly detrimental to our generation. I love baby boomers who say, kids don't even know how to write cursive in a negative way, like, okay, grandma, you can't even turn on your laptop without getting 6 viruses and wiring half your retirement money to a Nigerian prince.
But they said I would get millions. It's the 5th Nigerian prince this week. There are so many Nigerian princes, but they all seem so nice.
And then we just gotta retweet that Jesus Carrot AI on Facebook as well, just like really bring it home. You're the man, Trump. Wrong, you're. The liberal machine ruined my family and brainwashed everyone except me. I have been ostracized and cast out for supporting you. I will never waver as I know I'm on the side of good. The liberals are bowing to the golden calf of the Marxist machine. They will have to answer to our maker for this. It just sucks that the families are torn apart. Literally everyone around me except me is brainwashed. It cannot possibly be me. I don't know basic grammar, and I don't know what tariffs are. GG's, when are the leopards going to eat my face? Bro, you're in a PetSmart walking a pair of corgis. Calm the frick down.
Don't ever think that the reason I'm peaceful is because I forget how to be violent.
I also love the little classy detail that the print is like beautifully off-center. It just adds to like the classiness of it. Oh, yes indeed. A boomer's wife shuts him up. I was on vacation with my parents and their friends. The boomer of the story sees my tattoo paw print I got last year just before I had to put my dog down. That is a very beautiful tattoo to get though. Oh my god, like a paw print to always remember your loved pet. That is so sweet. Boomer!
Is that thing real?
Yeah, it's my dog. Knowing what was coming, I just tried to be positive and not engage in debate.
A lot of money in getting those things taken off nowadays, you know?
I would never get him taken off of me.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. A lot of money being made taking off those things because people don't think before getting a tattoo.
This goes on for a few more minutes of him basically repeating himself like I'm going to suddenly change my mind. Boomer's wife.
Are you going to get those frat letters lasered off your foot?
There was much bluster after that, and the conversation quickly ended. That is absolutely beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. The instant karma is so beautiful. You see, sometimes the boomers have good boomers around them that actually keep them in check. That is absolutely beautiful. You see, that's the takeaway. There is a bit of hope, right? Oh, look at this. We got like a beautiful ball game going, but she is not allowed to smoke there. So she's putting it in the police officer's face instead, which is not a good idea. Oh, this is frick around and find out.
Help! Help! Oh no, help me please, it's the consequences of my own actions. Why can't I just frick around and not find out? It's discriminatory against my fricking around.
What I find so fascinating about this sort of behavior in people that are on the older side of things is, has no one confronted them about this before? Has they been allowed to act like this for like the last 50 years of their life without anyone ever telling them no? Is this like the first time they had consequences for this? Which is absolutely astounding. It's like a statistical anomaly. My mom thought a short documentary would change my mind, and I destroyed it. A few weeks ago, my mom found this short documentary on Newsmax about climate change. I decided to humor her because I had a feeling I knew what was coming. I brought my phone with me.
Those pesky 35-year-old millennial children and their phones fact-checking my bullshit. Disgusting kids these days, they don't respect my lies.
Every time someone would come up on screen, I would Google their name and show that they are all frauds. They were all funded by big oil and big natural gas and their proxies like the CO2 coalition. I also gave context to the cherry-picked data they threw on screen. Essentially, it made it a laughing stock. It didn't change my mom's mind, but it was fun to get a W. Like, we make fun a lot of, for example, climate deniers or flat earthers, all that kind of stuff on this channel, but I think one fascinating aspect, and I saw a scientist talk about this in a documentary I watched about like conspiracy theories and pseudoscience, that sort of thing, is that so much of it becomes a feeling of community. It no longer becomes about facts or logic or science or, following the data or whatever argument you want to make. There is no way to debunk it because it becomes an identity. It becomes something subjective. It becomes a belief, it becomes a sense of community, and it becomes an identity for the person. Therefore, you can't really argue against it with facts, logic, or science, and that's why it's so prevalent. It's not about a scientific school. It's about an idea and a community and a cult, almost, really. So that's why it gets so much footing, especially in the social media age, where it's so easy for people like this to find each other and value each other and lift each other up, for lack of a better word, and I would argue a non-positive way. And it is astounding how powerful that is in humans. Man, it's beautiful, isn't it?
As FYI, you're voting for Trump. Is that okay? That way you can vote for him twice.
Gross and senile.
So I suppose you're not voting. That's the opposite is just stupid.
Like I said, I wanted your opinion, I would ask. I actually said this was an off-the-table topic for me. Please do not text me with this nonsense. And here we're just casually going to the FBI website, Federal Election Crime, and bada bing, bada boom! Electronic trip form. There you go, voting fraud. It's a little bit of a crime, isn't it? Goddamn. Unconscionable. Baby boomers are becoming homeless at a rate not seen since the Great Depression. I don't think baby boomers were born then, but I suppose you mean like homelessness in general in people of that age demographic currently haven't seen homelessness to that degree. I suppose that's what it means. Here is what's driving this terrible trend.
Did it not trickle down? Have they considered canceling their Netflix? Have they tried making coffee at home? I heard it can be life-changing financially.
This comment section is one big I told you so, and I am lemowing. I have been told they can get a job right now with a firm handshake and a well-done resume. Be sure your shoes are polished for the interview. I think stuff like this is very important to keep in mind, because when it comes to, for example, predatory system or corrupt financial things or whatever, it takes longer for it to affect certain people than others. That is the first demographic that will feel this kind of stuff, but that doesn't mean the others are immune to it, and eventually it will catch up. So it's this sort of thing that just because it's currently munching away at some other demographic that isn't you, doesn't mean it's not gonna come for you as well. There is this old saying where it's like, oh, this thing came for these people that didn't speak up, and then it came for these and I didn't speak up, and then it came for me and there was no one left to speak up for me. That's sort of like where it ends, and it's not good. Predatory financial systems isn't good for anyone.
If you voted for reintroduction of wolves, do not recreate here. You are not welcome.
This is so uninformed. In my ecology class, we read a paper or article called The Ecology of Fear about the loss and then reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone. Wolves are a cornerstone species, and losing them had a dramatic impact on the entire ecosystem. Deer became overpopulated and wouldn't move around as much because they weren't scared of wolves. They started to overgraze and eat all the trees young before moving to the next area. There was a multi-year gap in new tree growth, and this started to lead to habitat and food loss for birds, insects, and small mammals, with fewer tree roots growing the banks of streams and more susceptible to erosion, and became murkier and less shade from trees that made the water hotter, which negatively impacted the fish population as well. It was a domino effect throughout the entire ecosystem. When they reintroduced wolves, the ecosystem started to get healthier again. Bringing back wolves was a huge win. There are now packs splitting off, and some have even crossed state lines. We may start seeing similar positive effects across the West Coast as they move back into areas they used to occupy. Ecosystems are a beautiful thing of balance, and this very foolish sign in the beginning is very ignorant to that fact.
Silly sign writer. If you spent that time learning how to read instead of writing dumb signs, maybe you would be not so dumb.
Why do they act like this is their first day alive on Earth? Working at a pharmacy, Boomer Lady comes in demanding a prescription product be sold to her over the counter. Obviously, that's never going to happen because we have laws we have to follow. Novel concept for this woman. She starts repeating her doctor's name over and over again, as if that will magically make a valid prescription appear in the system. I tell her no, she needs to contact the doctor and have them send over confirmation she's being prescribed this. AKA, we need a darn prescription! She proceeds to make a scene. No one was even in the waiting room, and let out the most dramatic, loud, theatrical series of groans and sighs while literally stomping away. Come on, this isn't a new concept. Why do they act appalled and surprised over basic BS like this? Oh wait, don't tell me they're narcissists who expect special treatment. It's so wild. You would expect experience to be a thing. Or you would also expect at a certain age that you learn that being a bit diplomatic with people goes a long way. Like, damn, no one in, like, the pharmacy is your enemy. They're not doing this to you personally. This is, like, how the system works, and for good reason. God damn it. Ooh, look at this car. Stand up to woke mob. You are next. No men in girl sport. Blue lives matter. Has anyone ever seen a car like this that has been driven by, like a sane person? I don't know, man. I think, like, no matter what message, which the message on this seems pretty unhinged, but, like, no matter the message, I think if you're this invested and you, like, literally graffiti your own car, I think maybe you need a hobby, okay? A boomer dad thinks he can give away my house. Oh, my father. He is actually generally pretty nice typically, but he fell down this Trump anti-vax pit for years now. A few years back, he found out that I got the COVID vaccine. Not only did he ban me from his house for over a year because he felt like I was shedding vaccine, but the man called up my sister and told her I was dying because I got the vaccine and that she could have my house when I died? 2 points here. My sister also got the vaccine. She was just smart enough to not tell dad. And the man himself really thought he could just choose what happens to my house if I died. I have kids and a spouse. It was wild. Thanks, Dad. Edit, my dad has no legal right to my house. He has nothing to do with the purchase. He is not on the deed. There is no real threat of him giving away my house. It was just nuts that he thought he was entitled to make that sort of decision. It ended there because my sister is also used to my dad's weird behavior the last few years. I hear you all loud and clear. I'm going to get on making a will ASAP. That's probably a good idea, better safe than sorry. I think by default, even if you don't have a will, this can probably vary between countries as well, so take it with a grain of salt. If you pass away, it goes to your spouse firsthand, and then to your kids. After that, it goes to your parents. After that, it goes to siblings. After that, it goes to potential extended family, and so on and so forth. There is like a default order of things, right? And I think there's also laws that, if you pass away and you have kids, for example, there's like a minimum amount that you could leave them in the will there, but this depends between countries and context as well. So better safe than sorry, I suppose. But even if you want to argue the like default case, even if you don't have a will, it's a very wild thing to claim because he's not first, not even second on the default order of inheritance in this case. So that is very wild. Hanging around boomers is so exhausting. They have dog poo emotional regulation skills. You tell them you want to go to a grocery store that's slightly further away and watch them go through the entire 7 stages of grief. Get me off this roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster that's not even fun. That's great. Loudly accused of being a P-word. I am a male Gen X. I was shopping at a big box store where there are several people giving out samples. I am also a nerd and had Pokemon Go open as a lot of Pokemon spawn and around the store. I turned down an aisle with a boomer sample lady. She stepped in my way and asked if I got some good pictures. I was confused, so I asked what she was talking about. She caught me taking photos of two young 13 to 14-year-old girls in the same aisle. I had no idea they were there. Not sure what Pokemon I was catching, but I was doing my thing. She announced this loudly to everyone in earshot. She did not understand mobile games, so could not be convinced I was not taking pictures of young girls. After trying the calm approach, I ended up getting management involved. I yelled/asked if he was trying to get me beat up or shot in the parking lot by some dumbass white knight that believed the bullshit she was spouting. I believe she lost her job, but I have not asked management for confirmation. Just never saw her there again. Edit, holy crap, all of you are great. I am glad I'm not the only one to get false accusations. Honestly, after seeing stories like this on repeat in different contexts as well, I think there's a very similar breed of people that also jump people that park in handicap spots before they have gotten like the wheelchair out of the car. And it's like, I don't see a wheelchair, but then I see the wheelchair and it's like, oh, you know. I think it's people who are just so full of themselves that they just need to create a villain so they can be the hero. It doesn't matter if the villain is actually a villain or not, as long as they can be the hero. That is all that matters. Oh yes, indeed, changing the world, one screamy Karen at a time. A boomer couple in my neighborhood was giving these out to kids who can't legally vote yet. To Trump cats. Oh man, what a good Halloween. Woo. Hey, 8-year-old Timmy, trick-or-treating dressed as the ghost. Remember to vote. There is such a thing as like, you know, target demographic. And that kind of, no? Okay. Ah, you know it wouldn't be a boomer video without some beautiful Facebook AI slop. So let's round this off with some beautiful Facebook AI slop that everyone believes. You see, 1980 everyone used to pray before dinner, but in 2024 everyone scrolls their phones. This is so deep. Oh my god, you see, look at that sign back there. Fomly Fouise. Man, that I can get behind Fomly Fouise. That's my motto, man. You won't regret liking this picture. Yacht you kiss to marry you? I'm you dord. Okay, next one, please. Beautiful cabin crew, Scarlett Johansson. You can obviously see it's fake. Wow, beautiful. Amen. It's like a what is it? Like a palm tree banana tractor. This one is funny though. This one is funny.
Made my nephew Cletus a snowmobile from a stick. Look at the stick snowmobile. Cletus is already growing a beard from sitting on my manly snowmobile. This is great. Oh yeah, he's a real man at the age of 5.
A best magician with world-class abilities in history wins Golden Buzzer and Britain Got Talent 24 full details. Beautiful witch. Look at that. That looks great. Simon Cowell gave the gold buzzer to this golden gyat on Britain's Got Gyat 2024. My god, click on this if you're a real whistler. Car engine smoke can appear in different colors and each typically points to specific... Alright, this is scientific. Let's get into this. This might actually be some learning stuff. CCI smoke, thin white smoke, cold start, coolant start. Did you AI generate like an infograph and posted it as if it's some kind of real thing? Are you actually serious? The smoke, thick white smoke, ingading coolant leal. Half of these words aren't even real. You couldn't even like, you know, just AI generate the car and then, you know, at least write the text yourself to make it like sort of pedagogical. Oh my god, man. Black smoke, thick white smoke, ingångsing oil brinning. What the fuck? Black smoke. Black moke? It couldn't even do the headline twice. Black moke. Excess Pharrell combustion. Oh no, I hate it when my Pharrell combustus. Oh no. I mean, Jesus Christ. Even if you want to use AI as a tool for this, which, you know, where it gets its training data is like, you know, a bit morally questionable, so to say. But even if you wanted to do this, like seriously, why the would you AI generate the text? And when you see it's like this, black smoke, and then you leave it like this and post it like it's some kind of serious infographic. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. This is so dumb, man. People are so lazy. It's insane.
If you baited your own hook, washed your hands in the lake before eating a sandwich, you are part of the greatest generation, says AI-generated fish boy. That is great. Look at that. Look at that fishing bait. I don't know what the that's supposed to be, but it's the greatest generation. Yes, worm sandwich, my favorite.
Well, my little worm sandwiches, I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed having you here, you wonderful, beautiful bean. It's a beautiful world we live in, and these subreddits really just capture the golden little nuggets of it, don't they? Oh, yes, indeed. It's absolutely wonderful. I need to go touch the grass because I felt myself going a bit insane during this video. Thank you so much for watching, you wonderful, beautiful bean, and I will see you again in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.